Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, I am going to be showing you guys how to get a bunch of eggs in the new egg hunt event that they added to Royale High. And if you don't know already, they added 10 new items that you can get, and it does take quite a while to get them because they also added the chance of getting the old Easter items, so it takes a lot of eggs to get them, and I haven't even gotten them all. So okay guys, so as you can tell, I already have a decent amount of eggs, and that was from the last time I was farming. So the first thing is I highly recommend doing this in public servers. I know I'm in my private server right now, but I'm just doing this for the video. But if you do it on a private server, it's almost not worth it because you get little to no eggs since it's only giving eggs for one person. But if you're in a public server with a lot of people, then it's gonna spawn a lot of eggs. So my second tip for you guys is to go to the settings button that's right here, and you're going to scroll down to lighting filters, and you're going to turn on colorful brightness. And this pretty much brightens up everything, and it makes it so much easier to see, and especially see the egg. Because I personally just like putting this filter on because it's just so much easier. So another tip is to not get any of the eggs on the mushrooms because they make you jump up and it makes you lose a lot of time. So it's almost not worth it to get those eggs. And trust me, you will find more eggs somewhere else. And something I want to add into this video that people might not know is that you do not need to click on every single egg. You can walk on top of them and it works perfectly fine. And I am going to suggest later in the video a tip for getting eggs. So it wouldn't work if you just click on them, and it works vice versa. If you have been walking on the eggs, you can click on them, and I am going to recommend something later in the video as well for that. But I'm going to find an egg to show you guys that you don't have to see. You can just walk on top of it and you will get the egg, and you can also click on an egg as well. So whichever one works the fastest for you, but I personally think walking on top of the egg is the fastest way, especially with the tip that I'm going to share later in this video. Another thing that I recommend doing is farming areas that no one else is really at. For example, I have to wait for the fog to go away. So for example, this area right here is probably one of the best places to farm because eggs always spawn inside of the water and on top of this little mountain here, and they also spawn around this area, so you are guaranteed to get a bunch of eggs just from farming right here. And also you are right next to the basket, so it's just really convenient. Okay, she's doing too much now. But it's just really convenient to farm right next to the basket. Another place that I recommend farming near is over here. There is always a lot of eggs that spawn in this area over here, and honestly it is so worth it, and it's also right next to the water area, so you can just come up here, and farming in this area as well is really helpful because eggs almost always spawn there. So pretty much spawning in places that nobody else is, because I've noticed in public servers, if you are farming in an area that a lot of other people are in, they're most likely going to take the eggs that you want, especially if you freeze. And I am going to show you guys a trick for that. For the sake of this video, I obviously want to look the best I can, but when you're farming, I highly recommend having a second outfit, and I usually just use my farming outfit for Campus 3, and this outfit, I just have the halos on literally just to brag off my halos because I never wear them, but this outfit should just have, okay, it's glitched. I have to reset. I love Royal High. Okay, so this outfit should not have any heels on because the heels kind of get in the way and it's harder to get into tighter spaces. So I just recommend putting on your farming outfit or creating one. Obviously the halos are just a fashion choice on my part, so... So something that I highly recommend is anytime... So something else that I highly recommend doing is anytime you are passing by the egg basket to always drop off your eggs, because the most frustrating thing is when you have a bunch of eggs and then you trip and fall and drop them all. So I just highly recommend anytime you are near this area to drop off your eggs, and there is a chance that you will find more eggs on your way back to the basket, but I just highly recommend doing that. So something else that I highly recommend doing is when the timer is at like 10 seconds is to just hang out here, because there's always little eggs that will spawn near the basket and you're not going to get any eggs if you fly into the basket at like 3 seconds. It just doesn't give you the eggs. So I just recommend staying by the basket and waiting for any eggs to spawn near the basket, and then you can click it real quickly and then get the eggs. Something else that I recommend is if you find any eggs that are in tight spaces that you can't reach, like this, then I recommend just clicking on them. And if it takes way too long, then I recommend just moving on to other eggs, because at that point, it's just not worth it if it's taking too long. But you can click on them to get the eggs. Okay guys, so another tip that I have for you guys is to equip a parasol. So if you have either the Goddess of Triumph parasol or the new one, I highly recommend using this while you're navigating around. So I have the Goddess of Triumph one. I do not have the new one yet. So you use this, and then when you're flying around, it pretty much has the same animation as if you're standing, but it's a lot quicker to just go flying around to get the eggs. Like, as you can tell, I am going so fast, and it's just so much easier to have a parasol equipped while you're flying, because I personally think flying is a lot quicker, but I don't like the normal flying animation for farming. It just makes it a lot harder in my opinion, so I just personally don't like doing that. If you don't like flying and you prefer walking, then I have a little tip for you. I recommend to always make sure you're on run. So if you see your little thing is on strut, make sure you're on run, and make sure to never use your shift button if you're on PC, because if you do, if you're holding down shift and you let go, it'll change it back to strut and it will slow you down a lot. So I recommend just clicking it once in the beginning of the round, and then you can be free to run around and collect as many eggs as you can. So I'm gonna share a tip that only fire elements can do, but if you're on a public server, this can be really helpful for other people to help unfreeze you, and you can also help other people unfreeze as well. Okay, so what you do is you go up to the person and you unfreeze them with your ember, whatever it's called. I was in such a rush to explain that, but you have to use your little element to unfreeze people, and other people can unfreeze you, but you can't unfreeze yourself. Something else that I recommend doing is making sure you have some sort of noise playing, like if you have music, or to put on a movie or a show, or maybe my YouTube videos. That is something I recommend because I get really bored really easily, and I just lose I lose motivation pretty quickly when I'm doing it, and if I don't have something playing. This is just me, but it helps me a lot better if I have something playing or if I'm watching something. So that's just another recommendation that I have. Also, something else that I want to add is first place does not matter. The top 3 does not matter. So if you're aiming every single time to get in the top 3, then it really does not matter because you don't get any extra eggs for getting in the top 3. So I'm just letting you guys know the only thing that matters is getting a lot of eggs. So if you're trying to get a lot of eggs every round and you end up in the top 3, then that's good. But if you're aiming to get like first place every single time, then it's really not worth it. Maybe it is, but you also don't get anything extra for getting in the top 3. But it's still a pretty good thing if you get in the top 3 because that means you got a lot of eggs. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in the video because I feel like people might not know that you don't get anything extra. So that's it for today's video. Please make sure to subscribe for more Royale High content, and make sure to comment down below what you guys think about these tips and if you guys are gonna use them, and if you've gotten all 10 of the new items. I still haven't, but I want to know if you guys have gotten all 10 yet and which item you are looking forward to get the most.